Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Café con Chico e Isela. Today we have the wonderful guest, Congressman Greg Stanton. Congressman, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. Good morning. Thanks for having me on. Bright and early.
Bright and early. Isela, how are you today?
Really well. And can we just shout out, Chico and I have been talking about coordinating in color, and we coordinated by accident. We didn't even plan on wearing white, and anyway, awesome.
Awesome. So today I'm going to start out with a quote. And I believe this quote will go right into the first question for you, Congressman Stanton. And the quote reads, "If we are not careful, our colleges will produce a group of closed-minded, unscientific, illogical propagandists consumed with immoral acts. Be careful, brethren. Be careful, teachers." That was the purpose of education from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Congressman Stanton, you are a product of a public education system. What are the conversations you are having concerning public education?
Well, I am a product of public education. I was lucky enough to grow up in West Phoenix and went to Manzanita Grade School and Cortez High School many years ago. And I come from a family of teachers. My mom was a English teacher, a high school English teacher, and then taught at Glendale Community College, helping in the Learning Assistance Center there for students that needed a little extra help before they got ready for a college classroom. My younger sister, Maria, has taught for over 25 years in the Cartwright District in special education. She is the angel of our family, really an amazing person and so empathetic and passionate about teaching. My brother was a teacher, then principal, is now superintendent of Washington Elementary School District. So I guess I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm the lawyer politician, darn it. I went a different route, but the least I could do is to support public education in my role in politics. And look, as mayor of Phoenix, I spent more time on economic development, trying to recruit jobs and companies to come to Phoenix. And the fact that we did not invest to the level we needed to in public education really put us at a strategic disadvantage. So beyond the issues that you just raised from the great Dr. Martin Luther King about the impact on the individual person, collectively, it hurts us. We could be so much further ahead than we are economically in terms of wages of the people of our community, and just much more competitive if we really were to invest. Arizona is a great state, the best state in the entire country, but we could be even better. And one way we can do better is to continue to invest more in public education.
Thank you, Congressman Stanton. Also, good morning. I was just so excited about being color coordinated with Chico. I forgot to say good morning, Congressman. And you know what? I do want to highlight when you were mayor, I think it was in 2015-16, there was a Business Journal article that highlighted, because I think Phoenix or the Maricopa County area had lost some important potential large corporations, businesses moving into our state. And the two reasons, and I know it was just a few years ago, and I think one of them is still impactful and important. There were two main reasons. I won't name the second since that person is no longer in office, but the primary reason was the lack of investment in our public school system. So you are absolutely right. And unfortunately, if it hadn't been for all the work of the Red for Ed teachers, we might still be in a worser situation. So Congressman Stanton, I think we've all seen, and we've all read, and we've had conversations around what happened at the state capitol on January 6th. And there's this phenomenal picture of you and Congressman Gallego during the siege, if you will. And I don't think we've heard from you what was going on. And, here we are almost 2 weeks later, and there's been more information, more things revealed about the attempted coup, insurgency, if you will. But can you express to us what you were thinking at the time? Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, look, what happened at the United States Capitol on January 6th was a tragedy on so many levels. One of which is we could never say again that the United States of America, the greatest characteristic of our democracy, is the peaceful transfer of power. Look, I'm a Democrat. We won the election. Joe Biden won the election, and the opponents, I mean, it's what they've done to try to overturn it in terms of, number one, lies about who won the election, filing these frivolous lawsuits that went nowhere, and then ultimately an armed insurrection at the United States Capitol to try to overturn our democracy. It is shocking. Now, in terms of what happened inside, look, Arizona was on the floor at that time. We were defending the Arizona vote at the time of the breach of the United States Capitol. And I was next up to speak. Paul Gosar was speaking. I was next up to speak when we got the word that the Capitol had been breached. And that was obviously a very harrowing moment. And as time went on, we started to hear the banging on the door, and the banging got louder and louder and louder. And obviously that was a very, very harrowing moment. But I think the truth is we did not realize until the next few days just how dangerous the situation was. We did not realize that all of our lives were in danger to the extent that they were. And that's why we needed to continue to do a full investigation. There needed to be full prosecution of all those involved. And we're going to find out the level of involvement of even people in the United States Congress, and appropriate action needs to be taken.
Wow. Thank you so much. So like you mentioned, Joe Biden won the election.
And can we just add, fairly and squarely, highest level of, election integrity there has been, confirmed by many folks across the spectrum, if we will. So I just feel like I need to throw that out because it was a good election, a very well-run election with no fraud.
No fraud. As our good friend Adrian Fontes continues to say, if there was fraud, I would still be county recorder. So what do you anticipate for inauguration and moving forward working with President-elect Biden?
Well, first, I was happy to support and endorse now President-elect, soon to be President Biden. And obviously him taking office can't come soon enough. And so first and foremost, it's going to change the whole tone and tenor of politics in the United States of America. No longer are we going to have to wake up and find out whatever the president tweeted to try to create chaos in the United States of America. We're actually going to have a president. You're not going to agree with every decision he makes, but you know he's going to make those decisions based on what he believes is in the best interest of the American people, thinking about the best interest of the American people and not self-interest. On a personal level, I serve on the Judiciary Committee. I can't wait to get working with this administration on immigration reform. As you've seen, he made a recent announcement about some of the important immigration reform actions that he wants to take from day one. I'm excited to be a part of that. As a recovering mayor and now a member of the Transportation Infrastructure Committee, the other area that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have really emphasized is infrastructure investment. We mentioned education earlier. Look, I want the United States to be the leading economy on planet Earth for decades and generations and centuries to come. It's not going to happen by sloganeering. It's not going to happen by wishful thinking. It's going to happen because of smart investment in education and infrastructure. And our country hasn't been doing enough of either of those. And we're losing our competitive leadership position. I don't want that to happen. We need to make sure that our roads and bridges and our airports and public transportation and high-speed internet broadband gets to everywhere in America, including our rural areas, including some of our less wealthy neighborhoods, including our Native American populations, because access to high-speed internet is not an optional thing in 2021. We've seen it sadly with this pandemic and what kids have had to do for education. If you don't have access to high-speed internet, you're putting yourself behind when it comes to education. So I believe that broadband is as important public infrastructure investment as we can possibly make. And we need to do it in a forward-thinking way. Another area where the United States has fallen behind is lack of investment in clean energy, and obviously fighting climate change. That, again, is not going to be an optional thing moving forward. If the United States doesn't reestablish its leadership position, re-entering the Paris Climate Accord, but just reestablishing itself as the world leader on human rights and on infrastructure investment and on fighting climate change, again, that's going to put us at such a significant disadvantage. The rest of the world is making great strides in that regard. The United States, with Trump at the helm, has really put its head in the sand when it comes to energy policy. And that's another area where I look forward to working with the Biden administration.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Oh, sorry, Chico. I was just going to say, Mr. Stanton, thank you so much for highlighting a few things. Number one, the United States led in innovation and development and became, in essence, a world leader right after World War II for a number of reasons. And what you highlighted, the US invested in education and infrastructure in science. They went all in. And that is why the US really became a driver in so many areas. And then on immigration reform, thank you so much for bringing attention to immigration reform. As you know, and Chico knows, and maybe many of the people watching, I am a product of immigration reform from 1986, Reagan amnesty, which was a bipartisan coalition. It was imperfect, but it happened. So, it is, I have so much love for this country. And I just want to say that immigrants come to the United States because we believe in the so-called American dream. And it's something I've kind of struggled with these last couple years because of everything that has happened with this presidency. But thank you so much for bringing attention to it. Chico, did you have something to say?
Yes.
I want to add on that real quick. Look, you could speak to the importance of immigration reform on a human level. And I do not want to in any way take away from the human impact on the people that will benefit from immigration reform. But I also, especially coming from as a recovering mayor, look at it from an economic perspective. Just like we talked about investment in education, just like we talked about with clean energy investments, the truth is immigration reform will be a huge shot in the arm for the American economy and the Arizona economy. No state in the country will better benefit from smart immigration reform than Arizona. We have benefited so greatly from our proximity to Mexico and therefore our diverse population and the opportunity to expand international trade because of the diversity of our population. Our Latino population is disproportionately young, disproportionately bilingual. It's a very entrepreneurial community. So many have family and friends and business relationships in Mexico, Central Latin America. That's like our number one competitive advantage as a state. And we have to take advantage of that human capital that we are lucky enough to have. And oh, by the way, we want to build a high-tech economy. Right now, from a high-tech perspective, we are not getting the workforce that we need. And so smart immigration reform to really allow for people with technical skills to come into America, build their careers here, open new companies will obviously help greatly expand. And those people are voting with their feet and they're not coming to America like they used to. And that also puts us at a huge competitive disadvantage.
That's correct. And those topics that you mentioned about climate and investment in technology and in human rights, these are all ground level topics that we need to start talking about and teaching to our students. That is how I believe we help build this divide that we have in our nation by teaching and showing just how similar we are, even when we have differences. And like you said, Isela, I want to give a shout out to my mother, Zita Robinson, who was born in Magdalena, Mexico, and went to the University of Arizona, which broke my heart. I'm a Sun Devil, go Devils. But went and taught chemistry at North High School. So again, immigration can build and mold the future of Arizonans and the United States in the classroom and in so many other areas.
Look, the final thing I want to say, I talked to Isela last night. I have to coach my daughter's basketball team, so I have to run in a minute. But the final thing I want to say is, look, in Arizona politics, you know that when we have turned our back on immigrants and demonized immigrants, that has been such to the disadvantage and detriment to our state. And we embrace our proximity to Mexico and the advantages that have. When we turn to our better angels, if you will, that's been to the great advantage of the state of Mexico. And so, look, one of the exciting things about kind of the changing politics of Arizona is that it seems like we are finally turning our back on those dark days, not that long ago, where we tried to make our diversity somehow the enemy of progress, when the truth is embracing the people of the state, embracing the diversity is the best thing we can do. The people that we have in Arizona, the human capital, that's our number one competitive advantage. And we need leaders that are going to embrace that and not turn to our darker side.
And thank you so much. So before we let you go, one final thought, Congressman Stanton, Chico, and to anyone listening, and you said it. I think we are hopefully, I am hopeful we are turning our back to these dark days. And we have seen history to some degree repeating itself, yet many have faith in the power of truth, love, and justice, and just the infinite power of the goodness of people. So we have to continue to fight cynicism, and we have to believe that we coming together will do better. And it's okay to disagree with your leaders. It's okay to have, conversations, and that's what makes democracy. And Congressman Stanton, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You've been amazing
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you for everything and your speech and all, and keep fighting.
I've been moving around a little bit because I've been outside with my dog Fozzie here, so that's why
Hi, Fozzie.
All right, have a great one.
Coaching.
Have a great one. Bye, Coach.